Hello, viewers, and welcome to Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury final analysis video. Today we're going to talk about everything I've come to learn, whether it be through myself, doing research online, other sources such as like IGN, Game Informer, all those, bigger rating sites and people that play through them and all that type of stuff. I know like Australia already has access to the game, so I got to see a lot of things through that. A lot of little spoiler stuff and all that. I'll try to keep all the spoiler stuff to the very end. That's going to be my main goal here. But if I ever do say anything, what I'll do for spoilers is I'll do a clap. So you'll see me clap, and then at the end of the spoiler, I will clap again. So that way you know when and where those spoilers end and start with. So let's start with the first and foremost here, which is Super Mario 3D World. That's the, original game, whatever. Also, really quick note, we did figure out, though, for a fact that they are two separate games. The Bowser Fury doesn't take place either during or after or, somewhere mixed in the actual 3D World game. They are two separate games, just kind of like the Super Mario U and Luigi U kind of was. They were two separate games. This is how this one works. They have two separate menus where you can select which one you want to play. But I'm going to start, like I said, on the 3D World side, and then we'll go back over to Bowser Fury side. So the 3D World side, as far as everything, it looks exactly the same and runs, pretty much exactly the same as what the Wii U one did back in the day. The only major differences between the Wii U and the Switch versions are, number one, the pause menu. We can now pause and add like the filters and all that, similar to Mario Odyssey and everything for anybody that's played Mario Odyssey. But yeah, you can add like the stamps and, create filters and stuff like that to make your photo, more stand out or, make moments more special or remember them. You can do that with the snapshot mode. And then they actually increased every single player, so Toad, Mario, Peach, Luigi, and one other character that I will save for later. But they increased their speed on all of them, so they all run a little bit faster now. And the game just looks a lot like crisper because obviously the Wii U is, that buffering 60. I mean, I think it was still at 60 FPS, but it might be still 30 FPS. But for sure, definitely on lower quality platform. You can definitely see, at least from what I've seen in clips, the difference between the Wii U and the Switch graphically wise. It seems just to run a little bit smoother. Otherwise, though, it is the exact same game. Things like that. The only thing I could not figure out for sure for a fact is whether or not how the Switch gamepad mode or handheld or even with the Joy-Cons, whatever they have to be, how it will mimic the Wii U gamepad mechanics. For those that remember the Wii U game, you could literally tap on the Wii U screen and make enemies either pause or defeat them or, retract into a shell, pause things in motion. Obviously, you could blow into the microphone to make certain platforms lift or lower. Had a lot of interesting features. Some of them I considered broken, and I wonder if the Switch's handheld mode will be able to bring that forward. I have not seen anything to prove whether or not it can or can't in my research so far, but that'll be something I'll look forward to, testing out whenever I get my hands on the game myself. So we got literally, at the time of recording this, the game literally comes out tomorrow. Like I said, it's already kind of released in certain areas of the world, depending on where you're from, but for America, which is where I'm from, it does not come out until tomorrow. Other than that, though, 3D World looks exactly the same. Just runs a little faster, looks a little bit crisper, has the new pause menu, and things like that. That's pretty much the only notable things that I had, at least for the 3D World side. Like I said, just trying to figure out how exactly it will work. I do know for sure, for just overall wise, when you are playing online with others, if you're not in the same room, because it uses two different internet speeds, much similar to like Smash and stuff like that, it does have that lag. I do not know what happens if, say, someone disconnects or they lose service. I don't know what happens to the game at that point. I don't know if they bubble them or if they exit them out of the game like they did whenever the Wii remotes would turn off. I don't know that for sure, but for sure, if you have, different communications and wireless settings, you can definitely see noticeable lag, not only in the play style, but in the music. You hear it either being slower or, quicker, depending on which, speed you're running at. And it messes with a couple of the levels, a lot of those musically timed levels that are in the later game. But they said it's not anything too hindering, but it's just that minor annoyance that, yeah, it does hinder that online play. But as far as actual still local co-op or playing all together on one Switch, they've had no issues or seen anything issue-wise with that one. Just trying to think of anything else with the 3D World side. I'm looking under my notes here, actually, really quick. It's actually down below me. We still have no confirmation on the Infinite Lives glitch, whether that will still be in the game or not. It's in World 1-2, so I mean, it should be pretty quick to find whether it's there or not. I'm hoping it's still there, but I mean, they give you now the Cat Mario that gives you like invincibility too as an option, and obviously if you lose 5 lives or something like that, then you get the invincible Tanuki as well. So I mean, they still give you ways. We do know certain amiibos help affect the game, which was still in the Wii U era, but there's obviously new amiibos that do affect it. Pretty much any of the Mario amiibos give you a power-up of some sort. Obviously, the Cat Mario and Cat Peach give you different power-ups, such as the Invincibility Cat or different powers. And any other Mario related just gives you a power-up, and then non-Mario related, I think, gives you either Invincibility Star or just a Mushroom as a generic power-up, depending on the mode and stuff like that. We'll talk about that as we go on. Other than that, though, yeah, I don't know anything off the top of my head that I can think of for maybe notable differences we'll have to look out for 3D World. I'll keep going through my notes here, and if anything comes back up, I'll note to it. So let's jump over to the Bowser's Fury side, the new game that they're, kind of experimenting with. So they said this game, if you're just doing it to play and defeat the game, not 100%ing it, not whatever, blah, 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 it takes about 2 to 4 hours, depending on your speed and skill set. It takes about 2 to 4 hours to beat the generic story of it. If you go for 100%, it takes about 6 to 8 hours to do 100% and get the other side of the coin, whether you want to, see all the different, there is 2 different endings, whether you 100% it or don't. They're not very, very different, but there are 2 different endings and different mechanics depending on which, way you choose. But they say for sure if you're just wanting to say you beat Bowser's Fury, it takes about 2 to 4 hours to do that. But it is confirmed now that Mario and Bowser Jr. are the only 2 usable characters in Bowser's Fury. So no Luigi, Toad, Peach, blah, 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 in those modes because, yeah, it's supposed to be just Mario's adventure and then Bowser Jr., which can either be controlled by an AI or one of your, friends or yourself if you want to, have 2 computers. He's very similar to Cappy, where he, if someone was playing as Bowser Jr., it favors still Mario on the camera, so you sometimes get teleported back to where Mario is, or you can teleport to him, and you're more just can hit certain things, but it's not too crazy. But if it is on AI mode, you can actually go in the settings and say, I want this guy to be very helpful, I want him to not be helpful at all, moderately, whatever you want to kind of make Bowser Jr. to be, which I thought was really cool to have him, how you kind of seem fit to your play style. The Bowser's Fury mode, or whatever, the angry mode, it happens every couple minutes, it looks like. So you just see him slowly rise up, the world gets dark and bleak, it starts to rain, all that stuff, and then he rises, it comes out, and then he attacks, for a pretty good significant amount of time, then he goes and settles back down, usually either by collecting a shine, or I forget the other 2 ways you can get him to calm down, but for sure collecting a shine does. And I think just waiting him out can make him settle down and calm down. But you do need the Bowser Fury mode to unlock certain shines. So he makes certain platforms appear and or disappear depending when he appears, which does make for some hard gimmicks. So if you're playing on the regular mode where Bowser's not angry yet, and you're traversing through and Bowser all of a sudden gets angry, new obstacles will come in your way because it's in Fury mode, and vice versa if you're playing in Fury mode and then it gets calmed down and you're doing certain platforming or whatever, those will disappear once Bowser is calmed down. So that's a notable thing I did want to make note of, is that, yeah, it does change based on where Bowser's there or not, and it does affect the game when he's angry, or not. Different things are accessible depending on the, environment or whatever you want to say in the game. Let's see. Bowser Fury is literally like if 3D World and Odyssey kind of had a baby. I would say it favors more Odyssey style with the different worlds and different hub areas and the ability to like kind of warp to different areas and things like that, similar to what you could do with Cappy. And each one's like labeled and says like this is how many shines are in this area. It will tell you the most notable shine that you need to find labeled, and you can view a map and look at different shines and either what they're called or where they might nearby be. And as you progress through the game and collect more shines, like I think the first obstacle is to collect 5 shines, and it goes up, 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 25, and then 50 is the one to get the standard ending. So even though it says in the beginning collect 5 shines to fight the Fury Bowser, it does not let you beat the game only with 5 shines. You need 50 shines to even generically beat the regular story of it. So you have to consistently battle him over and over again. And we did figure out it is a health bar that he has, and yeah, it takes some maneuvering and different things, very similar to a boss battle in like an RPG style or something like that, where you just have to figure him out and everything like that until you do defeat him. Um, but yeah, the different shines and all that are scattered around. It seems like there's 5 per area, and there's 3 that are always the same. There's always one usually in a lighthouse, always one that's made by Bowser, and then there's what was the other one? I can't remember the other one. There's a third one that's always there as well. I know it's in my notes, but I'll have to come back to it here too. If you lose coins in the Fury mode, it doesn't hardcore affect you, but if you gather coins, get over 100 coins, then you get a free power up. And then if you were to die, you lose coins instead of alive. There's not really lives per se, but yeah, if you lose coins, then just kind of similar to Odyssey, you just lose a handful of coins and then restart. But if you get over 100 coins, you get a free power up that goes into your thing, and it does have like a little power up menu at the bottom of the screen that you can free select. Oh, I want cat power now. I want fire power. I want whatever you need for that tentative time, as long as you have it accessible. I don't believe that you can change like, oh, I want to exchange this for this power up or anything. I think it is just kind of per random or what you acquire, but still, it's kind of cool to have that fully accessible. Literally everything, and I mean literally everything, even if it doesn't seem like it is cat themed in Bowser's Fury. So like the trees, the landscape, the maps, the characters, the whatever. Literally, there's only 2 characters ish that you can argue that aren't cat theme, and that's Bowser Jr. and Plessy. But they can be, and I won't say anything on that. But yeah, they can be. And then Mario, obviously, with his cat power, can also be not or whatever. And I mean, I guess you could say like walls or something, but still, they look like usually lead into a cat tower or all that stuff. But the cat power ups on the enemies don't affect them at all. They still behave the same. So Goombas with cat power ups don't behave like a cat Goomba. They just behave like regular Goombas with just cat ears. Things like that. I think the only unique cat is the actual weirdly cat itself. There's little kittens that ride around that can attack and do things and things like that. That's the only unique one that's affected by the cat stuff going on that I've seen, at least. They did say the cat power definitely, like I said, not only do you get to run faster, but the cat power actually climbs a little bit higher now than what it used to. So that's actually really cool to note. The little power bank that's at the bottom that I talked about earlier with all the power-ups, it's only available in Fury mode when you're in the regular 3D world. Just whatever you get like you did in the regular Wii U game. That's pretty easily accessible. Like I said, yeah, there's 100% modes that you can get or whatever. If you get the 100%, then you get the bonus endings, all this other stuff, and that's not only effective for the Bowser Fury mode, but also the 3D world. For those that do remember that one, there is stuff you get for getting 100% in that one. Whether you touch the top of the flag, get all the stars, beat each level with every single character, collect all the stamps. I forget all the other 100%. I think those are the main 4. Collect the top of the flag, beat it every level with every character. What was the other ones I was just saying? Collect every star, collect every stamp. Yeah, that's all the main ones that I remember off the top of my head. It's harder than what it sounds like. You do, however, if you want to use the picture mode and use the stamps, you have to collect the stamps in order to use them. You don't get free access to all the stamps or whatever you want. So as you progress through 3D World, you get stamps as you collect through. Those stamps can be used in picture mode, but until you collect them, you can't use them. You get a free couple handful of stamps you get for, instant use, but otherwise it's kind of, you have to earn them. Like I said, the Bowser fight does have an HP bar in the Bowser Fury mode, and you don't necessarily have to be the Super Saiyan Mario to fight Bowser. You can fight him in other ways, which I said is kind of a spoiler, but it's not trying to give away too much. So, just as a note that you can fight him in other forms, there are ways around it. Let's see here. Yeah, like I said, I think I've mentioned this, but Bowser Jr. is kind of hard to control if you are controlling him, but you can respond with, I think they said the shoulder button is how you instantly teleport back to Mario. If you're in Bowser's Fury mode and you have a Bowser amiibo, it automatically activates Bowser's Fury form. So if you're needing that to happen, and you have a Bowser amiibo, that will make it happen. If you have the Bowser Jr. amiibo, however, it makes Bowser Jr. do an all-around area attack, it seems like. And then I think all the Mario amiibos give an invincibility star, and then any non-Mario gives a mushroom or something like that, I think is what we figured out. We're still unsure because it's obviously not out yet, but if the cat Mario will give the invincibility cat in the Bowser Fury mode. We don't know about that one yet. Okay, here's the 3 shines that are in every single one. So like I said, there's 100 shines in total. That's the total number of shines in the entire Bowser Fury mode. 50 are required to beat the initial game, and there's about 5 per usually island. There's one always in a lighthouse, one always that's made by Bowser, and then there's 5 little shards you have to collect to unlock a shine. Those are always 3 repetitives, and then the rest are kind of unique, usually to the level. But some of them do sometimes feel repetitive. Either you have to use Plessy to go collect certain things, or whatever. I forget what my train of thought was, but basically, yeah, you have to use either certain similar platforming or certain power ups to get those that are similar in other stages. They did say, however, if you're playing Bowser Fury and you play in handheld mode, so not the TV mode, but the handheld mode, that it's a noticeable difference because the handheld runs on 30 FPS, whereas TV runs on 60 FPS, so you can notice that it runs slower and a little bit more laggy, just as a FYI. And I did mention about the fact that Fury Bowser does reset your area every time that, either activates or deactivates, or whatever. The Bowser fight itself is a total of 2 stages. So there's the first stage, and then there's a second stage. Like I said, not going to talk too much about that just yet. And then there are different power-ups for not only Mario, but Plessy, Bowser Jr. as well. It does have the warp spots, similar to what Cappy did. And then if you go to the 100 shards, the fight at the end is different. So let's talk spoilers here. So for those that are familiar with 3D World, Rosalina is an unlockable character you can get in the game. That's a notable thing, but you do not get her until you beat the main regular story of 3D World. So 3D World has technically a couple different stories in it. The main story where you're freeing all the Sprixies, and then there's World Mushroom, Flower, Star, and Crown. Crown being the hardest, and you unlock Rosalina. I believe it was in Mushroom. I believe somewhere in there. It's her world's literally named it, and then you unlock her. But then to 100% the game, you have to still go back in the original game, like the regular 1 through 8 worlds with the Sprixies, beat those with Rosalina, getting the top of the flags and all that with Rosalina as well. But she's very broken. Very cool power ups. She has an instant attack. She can float a little bit like Peach. She's kind of like a merge between like Peach's power ups and just instant attack kind of feature. Let's see here. But yeah, that's the only main ones for spoiling for 3D World that I know of. And then for Bowser Fury, like I said, there are 2 stages. The first stage is the Bowser Fury stage. Once you defeat Bowser's Fury, a regular Bowser that looks ginormous appears, and you must defeat him by using Plessy and getting him, I think it's a total of 3 or 4 times, maybe more than that, maybe 5 times. You have to hit him through these different obstacles in order to defeat him. And then after you defeat him, you get the cat power-up that powers up not only yourself, but Plessy and Bowser Jr., all the cat powers, and you smash Bowser, you win. Then, if you choose to continue and you want to get the 100%, get the 100 shards, all that type of stuff, when you go back into the game, everything will be now officially cat-themed. So Bowser Jr. will be cat-themed, Plessy will be cat-themed, Mario will be the only one just depending on power-ups and stuff like that. Bowser himself, instead of being the Fury form we see, he actually has like a white, almost like Ultra Instinct type of look, like not lion, but yeah, that's what he looks like. And then if you beat that form, which is like a little bit higher of an HP bar, and it seems to be a little bit more difficult, if you defeat that form, then he goes back to his regular giant Bowser form, defeat that one on Plessy again, get the same ending where, you know, Cat, Plessy, and all of them defeat him, you know, and the game concludes. So, as far as I know, I don't know, I know for sure with the Wii U one, whenever you completed different tasks, like when you got all the stamps, you got a little star above your profile or whatever it was. When you were selecting new game, it gave you like a star, and you could have a total of those 4 stars for every flag, every stamp, every, you know, character beating the level, you know, whatever else. I forget what else there was, but yeah, you can have like up to 4 or 5 different stamps. I don't know if that'll be the same with 3D the Fury mode, whereas like you completed it regularly, you know, you beat the 100% mode, you got these certain unlockables, you collected these power. I don't know. We'll have to figure that one out too. That's pretty much all the notables I really had going forward, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. Obviously, like I said, it does come out tomorrow, so I'm super excited. And I think, honestly, when we do bring it to the channel, it will be in the form of a sleep block. We want to get that revenge for the 3D World sleep block that we lost when we first kind of started our channel and everything like that. I think it'd be fun. It was the first game we all really loved. I think it'd be really fun to play through that game, and then also the other game started early this time instead of late at night. Give us a chance, because it's going to be roughly about probably 14 to 16 hours of a time. So definitely be super fun. We'll get it all planned out, but definitely look forward to that. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much all I got. I hope you're looking forward to this game as much as I am, because I know I am. If you guys have any extra questions or anything you are curious about or want to talk about them down in the comment section. We'll join you down there. Other than that, though, this is going to be the Modern Gamer signing out. Caca.